The clock is always ticking. Carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere are about 50% higher. Our planet Earth has become so fragile. We always heard the phrases global warming and climate change. According to Yale's research, they are both interpreted completely different. Global warming is the increase in the Earth's temperature since the Industrial Revolution because of greenhouse gas emissions due to changing land use, burning of fossil fuels. Climate change is the long-term changes to the entire planet, such as wind patterns, temperature, rain, and snowfall. Climate scientists believe that this isn't caused naturally but by human activities. The greenhouse effect is a natural phenomenon that causes the Earth's surface to become warmer. When we talk about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about something which encompasses the entire world. These are life or death issues that threaten the planet's viability. Ecological goods and services are crucial to human activity. Farmers, fishermen, and a slew of other people harvest the abundance of nature. Some of the human activities that affect the environment are pollution, deforestation, and overpopulation. As a student, we learned a lot of activities from our home and also from our school of how can we protect our environment as simple as we can. Some of those is to remember the 3 R's, which stands for reuse, reduce, and recycle.
Environmental change is caused by humans, and humans react to it in a variety of ways. Reduced quality of water, elevated pollution and greenhouse gas emission, depletion of natural habitat, and exposure to global climate change are all common consequences. Most of these are direct consequences of human behavior, but others are indirect effects of a consequence of our action and responses. Global warming is the most major environmental threat. Carbon dioxide levels are the most significant source, ranging from respiration to more harmful factors such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation. There is a lot of solution to reduce this threat, such as reducing our consumption of energy and water by using more efficient devices. Example, LED light bulbs, innovative shower system. It's less costly and equally important, planting trees and creating more sustainable transportation. Habit those are some ways to reduce global warming. To solve this problem, we must move as one.
Simply put, if we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
The only way we can solve a problem is by a human solution. Never can we sit back and wait for miracles to save us. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens. Efforts happens. Thought happens.
Now, let's talk about the main types of democracy, which are constitutional, substantive, procedural, and process-oriented. Firstly, the constitutional. It is a form of government based on audience independence, with a constitution defining the government's functions, assets, and boundaries. This form of democracy is being practiced in Israel, Germany, Japan, United States, and other countries. Next is substantive democracy. It is a form of democracy wherein the election results indicate the will of the citizens. Even though a country allows all people of voting age to vote, this would not automatically mark as meaningful democracy. Okay, next. Procedural democracy. It is a democracy wherein the individuals or citizens of the state acquire fewer power than those in classical liberal democracies. Certain southern African countries such as Namibia, Angola, and Mozambique that hold procedural elections with foreign help could be considered as procedural democracies. Lastly is process-oriented. This model is a critique of pattern and static theories of democratic government that are limited to the present and transcend or institutional dimensions of democratization. But what does democracy really mean? It is a government wherein the supreme power is vested in the people as well as exercised explicitly or implicitly with them through a proportional representation system, one of the most important concepts in order to have the best country is democratic country. And according to Robert Allen Silverstein, democracy is one of the most important principles for a better world. In its truest sense, a democracy is a community in which all members have an equal say in the running of that community.
Let's talk about what is the impact of ICT in our life and society. The influence of information communication technology plays a pivotal role in my life. It gets my job done easily, considering that there are lots of reasons to consume our time. As a student under Humanities and Social Sciences Gen, I have learned a lot using the platforms of ICT. It helps me with browsing, reading, and even enhancing my skills. I believe in time is gold, phrased by Benjamin Franklin, and I do more believe that without ICT, I could have already lost lots of energy and ended up being wary over some things that are really essential to know about. But as a result of the idea of ICT, I am wiser today than I am yesterday. The help of advanced information in my study is huge. It already taught me too much lessons than I could ever learn at school. ICT has also helped many students and teachers to continue to keep going despite the pandemic. The new normal education has been effective since ICT made it possible. Information and communications technology develops almost every day. The more it improves, the easier we get updated from the information that never stops moving around us. ICT bridges the gap of the distance between family, friends, teachers, and my other social life. Because ICT holds us together in just one tap, I am able to reach them even over a million miles. I believe that the state of our society today is a result of the work of ICT in our lives. ICT improves education, businesses, and our economy. They are higher now because of the extent of ICT. I have no idea how information and communication technology is developed, but there's only one thing I am thankful of. That is the intellect intended to improve
Now, let's talk about the benefits of ICT to economic, political, social, cultural, and personal. We can't deny that ICT has a big impact in every part of our lives. So first, in our economic, the ICT facilitates economic development by increasing the availability of technology such as elevated internet, wireless, broadband, and computer technology.
Developing these technologies generates growth in of itself. And the fact that they make it easier for people to communicate and make jobs more efficient adds to the benefits. While in political, the most evident aspect that technology affects politics would be as a resource for political actors, including leaders, administrations, as well as other entities to help us better understand, involve and mobilize members of the community towards their causes, and also televise political messaging. Next is in social. ICT growth has had the ability to change economies and societies in a variety of ways, including lowering knowledge and transaction costs, developing new collaboration models to boost worker productivity, encouraging creativity, and enhancing education and standard service accessibility. Next is in cultural. Information technology allows people to access data from everywhere, which would help raise people's standards of knowledge and literacy, particularly in rural areas. Lastly is in personal. We live in a digital environment that is constantly changing. From our working to socializing, learning to playing, ICT has an effect on almost every part of our lives. Young people's communication, networking, seeking support, accessing knowledge, and learning have all changed as a result of the digital age. It has a major influence on our day-to-day lives.
For our next topic, we are going to talk about neural network, and what is the role of social network. So artificial neural networks, usually simply called neural networks, are computing systems vaguely inspired by the biological neural networks that constitute animal brains. An ANN is based on a collection of connected units or nodes called artificial neurons, which loosely model the neurons in a biological brain. Simple words, a neural network is a series of algorithms that endeavors to recognize underlying relationships in a set of data through a process that mimics the way the human brain operates. The importance of neural network is the computing system with interconnected nodes that work much like neurons in the human brain. Using algorithms, they can recognize hidden patterns and correlations in raw data, cluster and classify it, and over time, continuously learn and improve. The role of social networks represent important groups of constituents in any community health planning initiative.
Now, let's talk about social network, social networking and its benefits, and the different types of social networks. Social network is the development of social and professional contacts, the sharing of information and services among people with a common interest. Digital technology, the use of websites or online technologies to communicate with people and share information, resources, and etc. While social networking is the use of internet-based social media sites to stay connected with friends, family, colleague, customer, or clients. Social networking can have a social purpose, a business purpose, or both, through sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. Social networking has been bringing a lot of help to our lives nowadays. Some of these benefits are businesses made easier with the help of social network. Advertising business are now easier. A potential of reaching more people is a lot possible when using these platforms. Talking with each other in the company is a lot easier as well. Communication made easier. It is easier to communicate with other people regardless of location. Form of entertainment. People get the leisure as they scroll along social network, while they get to socialize with each other. They also get the chance to be entertained as well as be given a chance to express themselves. Some of the types of social networking are sites, social review sites, image sharing sites, video hosting sites, community blogs, discussion sites, and sharing economy networks.
This video depicts numerous topics such as global warming, climate change, how we act towards our environment, democracy, and ICT in our life. But the topic that really caught my attention is the discussion about the ICT or Information Communication Technology. From the discussion, it said that it plays pivotal role in our life, and I agree with that. However, we must also give attention to its disadvantages, especially to young or children that doing things that doesn't fit to their age. Adults must keep an eye on them.
I have learned that studying climate change helps us predict how much rain the next winter might bring, or how far sea levels will rise due to warmer sea temperatures. We can also see which regions are most likely to be affected by extreme weather, or which wildlife species are threatened by climate change. Knowledge regarding this phenomenon helps young people to understand and tackle the consequences of global warming, encourage them to change their behavior, and helps them to adapt to what is already a global emergency.
What I have learned is we people are the first to blame with the changes in our environment, and so we people should be the one to fix and take good care of it, because we are also the one that needs it, isn't it? And for global warming, we should be wise before making or improving something on Earth that only superior people's wants are fulfilled.
I have learned that trends is a behavior or new way of doing things. And there are three fundamental elements that make up a trend. First is basic needs, second is innovation, and the third is drivers of change. And I have learned that network is a group of people whom we interact daily. Our relationships are network. And if you look at nature, networks are everywhere. The cellular network in the human brain, for instance, is an amazing network that makes human life possible. And the most I learned was how to be a good learner, how to cooperate with my classmates, and how to manage my time.
For this activity, my understanding about climate change, global warming, and democracy has broadened, especially the democracy and its four types. Since that is what I tackled about and I explained the four main types of democracies, but especially what I learned is the most important, I believe, and it is teamwork.
I have learned that technologies are everywhere, even in the simple things in our everyday life. By the use of this, it helps us to communicate to everyone even they are far from us. We can easily search for answers that we need. It is more convenient and make our works done so fast.